Hello, my brother. It is that time. Actually, it's not that time. It's a different time and it's a different day, but that's okay because nobody would be online during the big game yesterday, of course. So we decided to postpone by a day and just kind of get a quick 25-minute, 30-minute recap or so of how the big game went yesterday, Super Bowl. So, Darren, how was your Monday? Did you have a full day? All that good stuff. What are you doing so far?
I had a doctor's appointment today, but overall it went well. I mean, again, it's one of those, you have very few off days, right? You're like, I did not get enough done that I wanted to get done. But overall, it was a good day. There's still some stuff I want to do, but it was any day that's not 3 degrees. I mean, it was like a balmy 20 today. So got a nice workout in, and always good to see you and to share the hijinks that is the Around the Ballpark podcast.
Yeah, and it's weird is I for some reason, it might just be a day thing. We are for some reason I cannot have our friend join us today in any capacity. It's like weird. It's weirdly not working. So
I can tell you why.
Why is that?
It's not the truth, but it sounds good. You ready? Because he's day off. He gets Mondays off
that could be because he's not showing up anywhere.
Because we do Thursdays, we do Saturdays, right? Sundays, Monday's his day, and I you know what? We respect that.
Yeah, we'll respect it. We'll see what happens on Thursday.
Yes.
But again, guys, thank you for watching this. Whether you're watching this live, whether you're on the way home from work and watching this later or the next day. Got an action-packed week for you this coming Thursday. We're going to be joined by the Locked On Capitals podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're there for that. We're going to talk about their season and all that good stuff. They're obviously right now in a break for the Olympics, and I haven't turned on the Olympics yet. I hope to do so sometime this week. But have you caught anything on the Olympic side?
Well, 2 things about the Olympics. And one is, you could do a whole podcast and a half on Leslie Vaughn, who at 41 years of age tried to come back in downhill ski. And she's doing her last test run right before the Olympics is to start. She blows an ACL. And She still went there anyway. And she still went and competed anyway. And I don't know if you saw what happened, but 30 seconds in, she crashed and broke a leg and had to be airlifted out. And that is not, how do I say it? Maybe because you and I are on the other side of 40. But when you compete, it's about competing. It's not about winning. Winning is a bonus, right? It's about when people tell you can't do something and you still do it. It's like, I'm going to compare it to what we do here. We have 4,000 subscribers plus, and we're growing every day. But there's always going to be a lot of people out there saying, "You two guys, you work full time. You can't, how are you going to monetize this? How are you going to do this or this? Or shouldn't you be at this by now?" But they don't realize that how hard it is and how much fun it is to get to where we are and how much it is. So we pray for her health, but what a wonderful story, just the fact that she got out there and she did it. Imagine blowing your ACL a week later, just trying. I mean,
right?
I'm sorry,
but she accomplished. I mean, it's an unfortunate outcome, but like you attested to, she still went out there and gave it the attempt, and that's all you can really ask for. But I will be turning it on. I definitely gonna watch some of the hockey and some other stuff. I kind of looked at the schedule. There wasn't anything like appointment viewing just yet. The first couple of days usually aren't, but definitely.
And also. But one last thing about Leslie Vaughn, there's one other thing that I think is noteworthy. But, one thing I used to you'd have fun conversations with your friends where like they all quote Yoda, there is no try or whatever. But truly, there is try. There's a lot of power in try. At least I got up and tried. She says, you know what? I'm going to try to do this. And I respect the try. The other thing that I want to bring up was Aaron Jackson. I don't know if you know Aaron Jackson or not. I certainly did not. Shame on me for not knowing this. but she is the first Black woman to win an individual Winter Olympic gold medal. That is fabulous. The first
Ever? Okay.
Yeah, and she
You
did.
don't hear a lot of those in 2026. You don't hear a lot of first evers unless it's like something super extreme, or broken down too. Like we were joking last night, I was able to catch a quarter and a half of the game, and we were talking about how some of the silly statistics about how this team is undefeated at home in the month of September,
Right.
when playing teams from the East when the weather is under.
No, they parse it out so much it's ridiculous. That's why stats are stupid. It's just are.
Oh man. But we have to, of course, I know this is an abbreviated episode today, but we still always have to give love to our proud sponsors over at Nashville Tax Solutions, all the good stuff that they do. And Christopher, if you, I'm not sure if you were at the game yesterday, but if you are seeing this, let us know. I'll reach out to you later.
I was going to ask you if you knew if he was there or not, because
so there was a couple pictures he posted on a reel, but it's not on his actual wall. So I'm not sure if it was from because I remember him saying he might not make the Santa Clara trip because that's an adventure going there. So he might have posted old pictures from a previous event. I don't think he was there. I think we would have seen more traction, but he might have been. So, but yeah, so.
But hey, if you're dealing with tax issues, maybe you're behind on filings or you got hit with a lien, let me tell you about Nashville Tax Solutions. These folks know their stuff and they actually care about helping you fix it. I've heard from people in Fort Pierce, Palm Bay, who said Chris Bennett and his team turned a financial nightmare into peace of mind. That's the kind of help you want and have on your side. So if tax stress is keeping you up, call 855-627-4829. Visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com or email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com. Nashville Tax Solutions, real people and real relief.
So thank you. And I guess we will get into the game, of course, because that was yesterday. And we've got a comment from On Deck for Christ asking what we thought of the game. So in full transparency, I had something I had to take care of on a personal matter. So I didn't get to see any of the first half. I only got to check the score, and that was about it. But I was able to make it just at the start of the third quarter, maybe 2 minutes in. So for someone that didn't get to see the half, you look at the score, 9-0, and it's to be expected for a Seattle Seahawks game. I'm not a fan of the 2 weeks off gap. I get it, and it's not going to change. But it always seems to take 2 quarters to get the game going in recent years, at least. So what are your initial thoughts on that first half of the game? And was there any excitement, or was it kind of a dud for that?
Now, it's so interesting, too, because I was working out, and I bring that up only because you have more time, right? You're thinking in your head, at least I do. I got to move to think, as Sir Ken Robinson would say. And I'm working out, and I thought about you and I using the term yelling at clouds. And I know I sound like I'm yelling at clouds when I mentioned that I loved it. I love a defensive game. It wasn't that it was sloppy play. It wasn't like there was a bazillion drop passes and there were a few overthrown balls or this and that. But give me snot knocking defense. And I got to tell you, this was all about. I know you're just asking about the first half, but they were children against men. The left side of that Patriot line were both rookies, and they played like rookies. They played over their head. They were just overwhelmed, and they were just being manhandled more than on a few occasions. They were playing on skates. Mike, it was like they were playing on skates. They were in their own quarterback's face all the time. He was sacked 6 times in the game.
Yeah, the offensive line, like you talked about, from what they were yelling at when I first got there, because I had sat down and the few people that were there were yelling about how poorly the offensive line were playing, so I echo those sentiments from what I've heard as well. But it's just and then of course go to halftime and everything. It seemed to be a long amount of time because I was refreshing on the phone and it's like still halftime. So I was waiting to where when it picked up and was trying to get there in time. And of course, the game starts. I think at that point it gets to 19-0, and you kind of know that's not how it's going to end. But of course, if you're the team winning, of course you're enjoying significant advantage, whatever. But for everyone else, the viewer, the person there, spend a lot of money. You want to see a good game. You don't want even. I would have ventured to say, and maybe I'm wrong, but even if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan that spent thousands of dollars to go to the game, if you walk out with a win, 19-0, 25-0, you kind of want it to be a little bit competitive. I don't know. You don't want to lose and you don't want to be biting your nails, but I think everyone appreciates competitive game. And so I don't think we got that for the most part. And even when New England kind of started turning things around, it was sloppy passes. So I'm not it's easy to criticize something when you've just seen it. And I know there was some life there at the end and some big plays by Seattle or whatnot. But in terms of competitiveness, I would say this was not a very good game in my opinion.
No, it was not. No, you're right.
Yeah.
So when I say I was watching a defensive game, I would be very clear that I like watching defense, but it wasn't like exciting. But both sides had great defense. One side was misfiring, couldn't get into the end zone, meaning the Seattle Seahawks, and the other side was just being dominated. So, and then Sam Darnold did more than enough to win. I love that story too. That was interesting because again, we're in this for a reason. The New York Jets, they. What is this? This is really part of the greatest story. Why did these teams get rid of people so early? I mean, and fans, by the way, are part guilty of that, right? They see a guy who doesn't play well for half a season. He stinks. Get rid of him.
All the time. It's like, oh yeah, the next guy will be fine. And what it was his fifth team, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you were happy for him, and if you didn't have a horse in the race, you were kind of pulling for a guy like that. And
100%. Yeah. I mean,
and his passes, I got to say though, his passes were on point.
Yeah.
That running back was tremendous.
Yes.
I feel bad that last play was taken back, when he had that run. Because I'm not quite sure if that warranted a whole. I didn't see the replay, so I'm not sure if that was the right call or not. But
that was it was. Let me put it this way. And again, I played college football. I played offensive line. You hold on every play. That is the kind of hold that they usually let happen. He wasn't turned around. You usually get a hold as if the guy's getting past you, and then you have to let him go. I think this was more of a call the hold to try to keep the game interesting, if that makes sense.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I have to ask, of course, with the so what are your thoughts on at the end of the game, the awards and all that kind of stuff, in agreement with that player of the game?
Oh yeah, you mentioned the running back was the show. 166 total yards.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else really distinguished themselves.
The only person I would say that might have never in actual consideration for it, but the one unsung hero of that game was the kicker for Seattle.
100%.
Because how many times backed up in the 5-yard line and just what he accomplished with the field.
His punch were unbelievable. And the way he was spinning it was hard to catch.
Yeah.
And it would land perfectly. So go ahead.
Because Collinsworth was saying a lot of times, like, you've got to catch that ball. You can't let that happen. But I don't know. But on a side note, but it seems like he was a little bit off last night. I don't know.
Collinsworth?
Yeah.
What do you mean last night?
I mean this whole season, but I
yes.
As most recent as yesterday. I don't know. It's finding it difficult to follow.
Well, it was like somebody pointed it out on X today. He was saying that May was finally hitting his stride, throwing pinpoint passes, and on the very next play, he threw an interception for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It sums up Collinsworth. Remember, Collinsworth was the one famously, remember the butt fumble with the Jets? If you listen to, pull it up on YouTube, Chris Collinsworth called it a great play.
Of course he did. Yes, Drake May. So the passes, there was that one pass that was atrocious towards the end of the game that I don't know what it was. 3 defenders there. He just threw it up there, didn't get picked somehow, some way. Then they made a good play, and then he just said, let's try that first pass again. And it was, I mean, so bad. So everyone's yelling at the TV, and, of course. And you kind of were thinking, I don't know if they're going to come back all the way, but you're kind of thinking that they had the momentum and stuff. And that one pass really just kind of, turn that trajectory around where it went from they have a shot in this to like they might score another point. And I personally, even though I don't do the squares and stuff anymore, like when those kind of plays happen and stuff like that, it's like you're hoping, okay, the score's got to end on these numbers, and then something stupid happens. You're like, oh, come on,
Right.
Yeah. Did you ever do the squares, the 2s and 4s?
So they did the squares at the house I was at yesterday, and I didn't take part because I truly, I will on occasion, but I just want to watch the game. I don't want to ever be in a situation where, I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, and especially if you don't have a rooting interest or whatever, you just want to win some money or just to say you won. I get it, so I don't judge it, but I just want to watch the game. I don't want to. I hope he misses so I can win. And then the guy next to you, who's your friend, is hoping that he gets it so he wins. I don't want to bother with that. But I just want to have a good time.
Yeah. Now, I understand the whole Super Bowl as a whole. It's a who's who. Who's got the highest checkbook to show up at the game and pander to the crowd and show this one is there and that one is there and stuff. Do you feel like more than ever the outside stuff took away from, because that's me, at least that's my perspective, is it just seemed like the celebrity aspect of it took away from the game itself, and the focus was not on the field. The focus was on who's sitting down now. I did laugh when I saw Solo Mio, Kevin James,
yes,
Matt Taylor in the crowd. That I enjoyed. That was so good. But
that was good.
But yeah, it just felt like, Logan Paul, boo, they would show this one. Yeah. It was too much of that and not enough focus on the game on my perspective. I mean, I know they're going to be there, but maybe that's what the red carpet's for, or the post game, whatever. But during from kickoff to the end of the game, I want to see football. And I just felt like I was watching more of a variety show.
Well, I figure you're spot on, and it takes away from the sport. Now, we know sports is entertainment, but really you need to do, it's like, I feel the same way, but actually even worse. We talked about this before, when they interview the players in the middle of the game, let them play, and you're in the stands, big deal.
Now, I agree with you, let them play, but there's certain times like spring training, there's nothing Different I love story. More Different than story. Them putting a mic on the center fielder as he's trying to like that's awesome.
But I'm watching you work out. That's a whole different thing.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the Jets have not won a Super Bowl since before man walked on the moon. That's a true story.
True story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do I want you talking to I want my guy focused on the game. I don't want you asking him, all right, so what you eat before the game? And the game is on. Like, stop.
Yeah. But I think when it comes to, because even on Monday Night Raw, like, that'll be on tonight, whatever city they're in, if there's not a legitimate celebrity, they have to pander to the crowd and go, oh, it's Fred Smith. He's the accountant for an HBO Max show that aired in 1997. Like, if the person's not there, or we don't know if it's not an A lister or B lister, like, we don't need to see it on the show weekly every single time. So it's a lot of focus on, like I saw Fat Joe waving on the crowd. It's like, okay, but like, and I get it though, but then again, I understand the audience is not just for the football fan.
Right.
The audience is whatever. It almost be nice, how they have the Times Square and you can watch it on different channels. Like, let the people that are like the fair weather fans or the watching just the Super Bowl, let them get that. Like, let them get that content. Like, they can see those celebrities and things like that are there. But so
no, like, and ESPN tries to do that sometimes on Monday Night Football, where like if you and I we're with say the Man Cave group, and we're watching your Man Cave group, and we're watching the game. Maybe we put on Peyton and Peyton's brother, Eli and Peyton, where they're just kind of goofing around and talking. And then, because we're in a big group, maybe we watch that for that reason. Oh, they're going to interview Bill Belichick. Oh, they're going to interview Kevin James about Solo Me, which was a very good movie. People go see it.
Yes.
And then there are times where you just want to sit down and watch the game. And I just want to watch the game, please. Thank you. It's for those of you who play video games, right? I remember when I would play video games, if somebody bothered me during the video game, I got annoyed. That was the Super Bowl. Let me play.
Yeah, I was watching today I had on the King of Queens. I was on the background. It was the episode where Carrie's boss was the only one who had like the nice TV. And so Doug did everything possible to get over there. He finally did. And then Doug's sister gets in a fight with him, Prezant. And then right as the game's about to start, he like slams the remote down. And now all of a sudden the TV's stuck on some weird channel and they can't do anything about it. And classic. We fought them there.
Oh, yeah.
And he had so much trouble with Super Bowls. And like one episode, it was like a running joke. Like one time the Carrie, left the garage open, the TV got stolen. Then something happened where he hurt himself and they had to watch it on a black and white TV with his whole high school football team there watching. It was like a running joke in the episode. But
I never knew that. That's good to know because I watched that show, but I don't remember. I never put two and two together.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like Friends with their Thanksgiving episodes. Like with that show was always about he proposed to her at the Jets game, and then he tried to recreate it, but he dropped the ring and the mustard and the popcorn on the floor. It was the whole thing. So now you're looking at the teams that have there's only 4 teams that have not made it to the Super Bowl. Seattle won their second one. When you look at the overall records of the teams that have made the Super Bowl, not a lot of them are very impressive. I think what stands out to me, of course, is Pittsburgh at 6-2 in the Super Bowl, but there's a lot of like 1-3s and 2-4s and stuff like that. So there's no guarantee. And so a lot of times when the commentary, they're like, he learned a lot here and he's going to take that into next season. Well, that is true, but that's them. A team like the Patriots getting back to this is not going to be easy. Now they have the tough schedule. Everybody's going to go a little bit better. So of course there is something to be said about getting kicked in the mouth in a big game. I've always said that, and you show up. So I have no doubt if they get that opportunity again, they'll take advantage of it, but it's definitely not a foregone conclusion that they're going to even make it that far. Because you look back and you're like, man, how the Broncos and the you could tell the Bills were a little off this year, but you really felt like the Broncos or the Jaguars, like one of those two was going to break through. Unfortunately for the injury, and then Jacksonville just had that tough matchup with Buffalo in the first round. They still should have won the game, but
agreed.
It's not who you want to draw in the first round of a playoff team. So,
but a great example of that is Dan Marino, who they were comparing Drake May to. Dan Marino, rookie year, goes to the Super Bowl. Never got back. Never got back. And he Hall of Famer, great career, never got back.
Never got there again after all that. Yep. So I did have one experience meeting Dan Marino. I was at the boardwalk in Disney, and he was sloshed out of his mind.
Tell me.
So we were walking to the ESPN Club, which was one of the best things that they could have possibly ever had. And the fact that they got rid of it is a travesty. But so we're walking, and I didn't realize that there was a signing that day. And so there was like a line by the other entrance or the exit for people to line up to get to meet him. And I was just like, I had no clue. I was just going to watch a game that night or whatever. And so these people, they're holding up signs, whatever. He comes out of the side door, and he was just hammered. And he's just cussing away and just yelling at kids, yelling at everything. And it was poor. I mean, the amount of people that probably waited for hours and hours and hours for this guy and didn't quite a horrible experience. And I haven't heard anything like that since. I know it was a common thing for a little bit. He had a little bit of an issue, but that was we're talking 20 years ago at least.
Listen, that's unfortunate. And it's just sad. And there's, let's just put it this way. There's a reason he was picked so late in the first round, and that was the reason.
Yeah,
You know, way to clean himself up. You know, beautiful, but yeah, you don't do that. You know?
No, you don't do that for sure. So, but as we start wrapping this up and stuff, as we let you guys know, it's an abbreviated version. So as you watch this later tonight or tomorrow, I understand everyone's making a drive home for work, so you maybe couldn't be on live. Just hit a thumbs up button for us. Hit that subscribe button. Turn notifications on so you know when we're going to be on. But again, we will be back to you live this Thursday. Full show, 9 p.m. Talk some hockey with Locked On Capitals. I'm really excited for that episode. It's going to be a really good time. And then a week from yesterday, we're going to have Ted Sunday. So he just hit the 5-year mark as a baseball umpire for the high school level. So we've had Sean on in the past at the college level. So really interested to kind of get a different perspective from the high school side. He actually plays in our church softball league as well. So looking forward to that conversation. Some other really good stuff. I've been asked to be on a podcast coming up to talk a little bit WWE and AEW. So I'll be doing that here sooner than later. So big things up. And that same individual will be on with us on the 26th of the month as we prepare for Elimination Chamber, which is the next big pay-per-view or live event, I should say, premium live event for the WWE. So got a lot of good stuff coming up. Talking about some potential merch coming maybe around April time. So big things on the horizon. So stay tuned for that. Enjoy your Monday evening, wherever it is that you'll be doing. And Darren, any final thoughts? You know what? I can't let you go just yet. I'm gonna put you on the spot because we have a tradition. I know we don't have a guest tonight, but I'm ready for something. Hit me with something. Right. Okay.
Your favorite commercial from the Super Bowl that you saw?
Okay, so we did a lot of chip changes and snacking during the commercials. I'm not gonna lie, because I got there so late, so I had to catch up to everybody else. You know, and then they busted out the key lime pie in the fourth quarter, so there was a lot of good stuff going on. I'm gonna say an equal tie of I really did not pay attention to commercials because I was chatting, having fun, and eating. So I really
all right. Then I changed my question. My question. Out of the snacking that you did yesterday, what was your favorite and why?
That's the jalapeno poppers, spicy, were the ones to go, and he makes them with bacon and all this good stuff. So good. Got a couple in the fridge. I might have one like a pre-dinner snack, maybe. No, but so good. That was definitely the highlight because he makes the spicy ones and he makes the non-spicy. And this was Dave. You met Dave at Brooklyn Barrel. And what was really cool is he's been making these bobbleheads as well for some of the team members from the extravaganza. So I got a sneak peek on that. They're really lifelike and they're looking awesome. So but I had a good time. Great. So I think with the commercials, I was talking to someone that because we're now in the realm or the era with ads or with reels and stuff, so many we're scrolling, we watch on social media and stuff. So it's hard to put a commercial out there that's really going to hold someone's interest because
I totally agree.
They do that mind-numbing scrolling on their phones anyway. But there were some good ones. Like I heard people laughing really loud while I was inside getting stuff. I just didn't get to but they had a nice spread. I could always appreciate a nice spread. I had to apologize because I got there late, so I couldn't bring anything. So I said next time I'll whatever. But you have to have a good variety. But of course, as always, there wasn't a ton of communication in terms of people saying what they're going to bring. So there was 6 bags of chips left at the end of the night. That always seems to happen. Everyone brings chips, but that's okay because we have teenagers, so they will not go to waste. But all right. Well, for real this time, we will see you on Thursday night. And until next time, we'll see you around the ballpark. Bye, guys.